Bulls Nation, another week has gone by for the Chicago Bulls that we need to assess. This week might be one of the weaker weeks for the Chicago Bulls that we're going to talk about in terms of the entire season, and hopefully next week will be a much better week. But we don't reflect on the goods without the bads. There's going to be goods and there's going to be bads. So we're going to talk about this week of the Chicago Bulls in this video. Let's do it. What's up, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today, we've got a Chicago Bulls weekly video. This is a weekly series where we discuss the Chicago Bulls. We look back at the previous week that the Chicago Bulls have just faced and look forward to the weeks ahead for the Chicago Bulls. And we have some pretty interesting things to discuss on hopefully a much more interesting week this week coming up. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel. Turn notifications on. Let me know in the comments below. Are you excited about the week coming up for the Chicago Bulls? And out of all the games that we have, let's see. We have 4 games that to look forward to this week. We have 2 against the Knicks and 2 against the Magic this week. How many of those games are we going to win before we head into the week after that? Let's see what you guys think. Out of the 4 games that we have, how many are we going to win? With that being said, let's look at the week that the Chicago Bulls just faced. Now, this week was a very, very long week. And the reason why is because the Bulls played at the beginning of the week and then at the end of the week. So it was a long wait until we got to see the Bulls play once the Celtics game was ended. However, the Bulls did fall 0-2 this week, which is not a good sign. We fell to the Celtics 119-103 in a game where the Bulls were lackluster. The Celtics were short-handed off of a back-to-back, but the Bulls could not capitalize. Then we faced the Portland Trail Blazers in a game where CJ McCollum, Yusuf Nurkic, a lot of their good players were not playing. Portland were short-staffed, and the Chicago Bulls fought their way back from a 19-point deficit and ended up conceding a buzzer beater to Damian Lillard to lose the game. 0-2 for the Chicago Bulls this week. Now, it's on the face of it, 2 losses in this week. You could say it's a negative. I think that Portland game was actually a little bit more of a positive, considering that we showed a lot of resilience to fight back. You know, you talk about these things when we're down by 20, we're down by 30. The Bulls don't seem to come back from that. They seem to let it go. The game's over, move on. We did this with the first time with Portland, where we came back by 20. We won that game. We could have done the exact same thing in this one, and we didn't. We didn't end up winning the game, but we did very well to fight all the way back. So there is a positive there against that Portland game, and hopefully the resilience of this team can kick in against teams like New York, where if we are having a bad run of form or we go on a bad run, we can pick things up again. We need to look at those games against New York and the Magic as golden opportunities after a disappointing week against the Portland Trail Blazers and the Boston Celtics. Now, again, I'm going to try and keep this video relatively short because there is only 2 games. There's not that much to talk about. The Bulls did lose in convincing fashion to Boston, and the Bulls played a close one against Portland, but there's not too much to talk about in retrospect to how we played. Again, these games were very few and far between, start of the week and end of the week, so we had a long wait. So this week ultimately just felt like a dull one for the Chicago Bulls, but we pushed forward to hopefully a more entertaining and positive week coming forward. Let's look at the individual performance for today, or for this week, sorry. Obviously, you think about the 3 awards that we give away, or we give out. The disappointment of the week, the 6th man of the week, and the player of the week. Now, in my opinion, this week, it's fairly simple for 2 of those awards, but we have to go to the disappointment of the week first. And to be honest, I kind of find it hard because at the end of the day, the person I want to target, I feel like it's very unfair to target him because of the minutes that he gets. But I think this week you need to target Daniel Gafford as one of those players that just simply is not living up to the expectations that you need from him as a starting center. Against Boston, he had 0 points and 3 rebounds with 11 minutes played. A game against Portland, he had 4 points and 5 rebounds with 10 minutes played. He's not grasping that center opportunity that we want him to do. And at the end of the day, we need him. We need Daniel Gafford at his best. We need that energetic Daniel Gafford. We need a Daniel Gafford that will step up and compete against the best centers in the NBA, because we don't have another center that will. We don't have a center that comes close to Daniel Gafford's ability on the defensive end. But somehow, some way, he's not playing enough. He's not getting enough game time. He's not keeping himself in the game. Every time he comes on, the plus minus for him goes down. We concede leads, or the lead that they have gets bigger. So in the end, Billy Donovan can't trust Daniel Gafford. So he is my disappointment of the week, because I thought he would have stepped up a lot more than what I expected him to be. I thought he would have stepped up a lot more than what he is. So it is disappointing to see Daniel Gafford in this list, but he has to be targeted this week. He has not been the best. And if we're going to see the Bulls win games, especially with teams that have very good big men, Daniel Gafford needs to step up. That Orlando game, Vucevic has been on a tear for the Orlando Magic. Daniel Gafford has to stop him. Daniel Gafford is the one that needs to defend him. We don't have another player that could defend someone like him. Against the Knicks, I don't expect Daniel Gafford to play that much. Against the Magic, I expect him to play. And hopefully the Chicago Bulls will succeed. Hopefully Daniel Gafford has a better week. But again, I'm not liking what I'm seeing from him as the starting center, and maybe we do need to make changes. I said in the last video, I'm surely thinking the Bulls need to go after a center for this month. I don't know how, I don't know if, but I really think that is the next step for the Chicago Bulls. Get a center in for this month, because we're going to miss Wendell Carter. And I think it's already been shown how much we do miss him. I think if Wendell Carter was in this game and we made it all the way back the way that we did, we probably win that game. I'm not saying it's Daniel Gafford's fault entirely. I just think that we miss a lot of the defensive presence that he brings, and the rim protecting on this team is nothing without Wendell Carter in this team. And Daniel Gafford's a good rim protector, but he's just not showing it. So hopefully he can improve, or hopefully Wendell Carter comes back quicker than we all expect, because I do think we need him. Sixth man of the week, this is very, very, very easy. Thaddeus Young. Easy. We don't even need to discuss this anymore. 2 near triple-doubles in both games. I actually think he got a triple-double against Boston. No, he didn't. He got 16 points, 9 rebounds, 9 assists. Last game against the Portland Trail Blazers, 8 points, 11 rebounds, 11 assists. I don't need to go any further than that. If anybody thinks that the sixth man of the week, the best bench player is not Thaddeus Young, then I don't know what rock you're living under. It's clearly Thaddeus Young's week for sixth man of the week. And again, he's got a majority of mine. He's been a massive, massive, massive improvement from last season. He's doing very well under Coach Donovan. And again, we're seeing a lot of our better players take the next step. Now, again, consistency-wise, we're still not there. But I really do think Billy Donovan still, even now, has had a massive impact on this team. And I'll refuse to go to that bandwagon side. There have been a lot of people I see on social media now clowning Jim Boylan. But Jim Boylan has changed his team dramatically. And that is the last thing I'm going to do towards a coach that is not even in his first full season with us. So with that being said, I appreciate what he's been doing with Thaddeus Young, and Thaddeus Young is thriving in this, and hopefully we can continue to see the best out of Thaddeus Young. Another player that I think we're going to need his production and his step-up ability to continue winning games if we are going to win any more games. Hopefully he steps up to that occasion. And the player of the week all around, look, Thaddeus Young could definitely get a shout-out for that as well, but I am going to give it to Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine had 30 points, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds against the Boston Celtics. He had 26 points, I think 4 or 3 assists, and 7 rebounds against the Portland Trail Blazers. The negative about Zach LaVine, we all know this, his turnovers are killing the Chicago Bulls. Against Boston, he had 1/3 of our turnovers, and he definitely had more than 1/3 of our turnovers against Portland. I believe we had 15 turnovers, and Zach LaVine had 6 of them. So he turned the ball over more than our entire team. So that's, well, technically not, but yeah, you know what I mean? Like he had so many turnovers, and it's difficult to decipher when Zach LaVine has a good game when he turns the ball over as much. But I guess what I can say is Zach LaVine, in terms of the turnovers that you notice, I don't notice a lot of Zach LaVine's turnovers. Maybe that's a bad thing on my end, but I don't think Zach LaVine's turnovers cost us as much as maybe the stats show. That's me personally. But obviously Zach LaVine has had a good week in scoring. Playmaking needs to be better. We all know this, but he's becoming better at playmaking, and that's all you can ask for someone that is focusing on a new role. This is exactly what we're talking about. Zach LaVine is in a new role, and we're going to have to back that and trust that. So we wait and see how that goes. And yeah, that's the week for the Chicago Bulls that we just had. Our next game, as I mentioned before, we got the New York Knicks twice, the Orlando Magic twice. The Knicks have very good big men, but they're undersized big men. So I do think players like Thaddeus Young, players like if Wendell Carter was to play in this game, maybe even Larry Marketing would have good games here. But I'm banking on the guards to outperform their guards. And I do think we have chances to beat the Knicks. They've been very, very good this year. They've been better than us this year. So at the end of the day, we can't take this game lightly. We can't just say it's the Knicks. We can't say that anymore because the Knicks have been doing very, very well. And especially in this run of form at the beginning of the season, we could definitely be caught sleeping when we verse them. This game needs to be the most highest intensity game we've played all season. This needs to be the game where we limit turnovers. This needs to be a game where we make the right plays. And I do think we have a chance to beat the Knicks. We got the Knicks again. We got back-to-back against the Knicks. Again, same thing applies for the second game. I'm expecting one win out of those two. So I know the Knicks are good. So at the end of the day, I'm not going to ask for too much, but hopefully we get one win. I'd love two. I think we can get two, but I'd love at least one. Then the Orlando Magic. I don't know who's going to stop Vucevic on that team. That's the biggest worry. I don't know outside of Vucevic for the Magic will score or do it consistently. Cole Anthony's been good for them, but I do think we can get at that team as well. I do think we can beat that team. So again, it's wishful thinking. I'd like to see the Bulls have a very positive week, come out of this a lot more intrigued and willing to win, and maybe the quality of the teams will help us win as well. And hopefully the Bulls step up. This is the competition that we face for that 8th seed. We're going to make that 8th seed. These are the teams that we need to beat. The teams in our conference, the teams that are fighting for the 8th seed, and the teams that we know we can beat. And I'm sure they are saying the same thing about us. We're competing with them for the 8th seed. They know that they have to beat us to get close to that 8th seed as well. So who's going to do it? We're going to hopefully find out sooner than later. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. The Chicago Bulls are 7-11. My favorite place to go. Hope you like. I've been waiting to do that joke since the video I made. Anyway, the Bulls record is not a joke, obviously, but take positives out of the negatives, I guess. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Take care and peace.